Okay, I think we're live, and let's put some horses out. It's a beautiful morning. This fine morning, we've got the sun coming up, and clear skies. Should be a great day. So let's have some horses go and hang out with each other. And a little morning coffee to go with these guys. So we can zoom in a bit, can't we? There we go. Something like that. Beautiful day today. This is the first time I've noticed that the whole table is a little bit off level. There we go. It's a quiet morning, nice and quiet. Let's see who's here. Jodell is here. Hello. Good morning. Sloth Republic. Fantastic. Good morning. Roni's pushing. Oh, there he goes. Mr. Wild's out of the way. Kathy's here. Do you do daily chores in a specific order? Yeah, you're looking at it. So chuck a horses out. Do a big cleanup. Pop up food. Hello, Martine. I figured you'd be able to enjoy this one because it's morning here. Patricia, hello, Patricia. Do any of the horses go under the fence to get out? A couple have, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be right back. Speaking of that, it's a good reminder. Okay. So the question was whether or not any of the horses have gone under the fence. Well, the last horse to go under the fence is that little tiny one over here. So that reminded me I had to go back for her. Because generally when I put the horses out, I check to see if they want to go out. And generally the way to do that is to see if they come to the gate. Not always, but generally it works. And she didn't come to the gate, and I thought, well, okay, I'll leave you for now. Maybe you'll change your mind, make another round. And well, there she is, obviously. So I Can't remember why she went under the board. But she went under the board just barely, sort of skinned her back. Horses can scooch down a little bit, not a lot, but they can scooch down a little bit. And then of course she just, well, scooched down enough to get under. Didn't break the fence, or at least I don't think she broke the fence. I think it might have cracked a little. That's about it. So, yes, Kathy, I do have a bit of an order of events. Generally, I get out here after. Oh, Roni's weird. Do you guys see that? Yeah, I'll see if I can zoom in. What is he doing? He's chewing on her eyeball. Just gonna yell at him. Yep, there it is. Take off, man. It's too much. Oh well, that was interesting while it lasted. Zooming on this thing is really stupid. There should be just a zoom button. You gotta pinch with your fingers, but it's super touchy. Anyway, so there's those two. Yeah, so chores, you just kind of come out and try to put them out. And depending on the weather, if it's pouring rain, none of them go out because they don't want to. They just stand in their shelters and stay nice and dry. And then on nice days or cloudy days, try to have them socialize every single day, get some co-groomings going on, sometimes naps, sometimes running around, depending on how they feel, I guess. Today's a quieter day, but once the sun starts to shine out here a little bit more, actually a really beautiful morning. I'll zoom out for a second. Here's what it looks like here. Let's put it wide, but that's sort of the view at the moment. And the sun starts to come through the trees, and there's some atmosphere in the air, a little bit of mist, or well, condensation more or less. Anyhow, quite beautiful. Oh, see, look at that weird zooming. Okay, so Roni and you really used to like each other. Yeah, they stick around together quite a bit. They're together at the back all the time. Amber's got a new account. Alright. Drop the kid off school. And then the other time horse went under was actually Mr. Wild. And he was getting chased off by somebody, I can't remember who, and he went out the back corner on this side. And Yoko went out on this side over here. But he went out over here and then wandered up the way, and I just caught him and brought him back. No big deal. But he, oh, here comes a squirrel. Check this out. They're everywhere. Gracie's kicking out at everybody she can kick out at. Squirrels everywhere. Jeez. She's alive today, which is nice. Anyway, so he went out the back corner and caught him, but I think he went out just because he was, yeah, worried about some other horse. He did not break the fence. I don't know how he made it out, but he did not break the fence, and he's much taller than Yoka. So, anyways, yeah, you know, for the most part, they don't go anywhere. Herd stays together. Roni made it off. I had him. I didn't have my lead rope, so I had a piece of twine that I just sort of wrapped around his neck. Not wrapped around, but just put around and let him out. Just a loose loop. So I get him over to his paddock, and I go to let him go, and instead of walking forward into the paddock, he walked backwards because I didn't close the gate because I was overconfident, and he just gone. Poof! It took off. So I followed him a little bit, but he just kept kind of walking away from me. Obviously, when horses get sort of free like that, and so I left him. I thought, okay, well, good luck with that, pal. And because he was ready to keep on walking towards the forest and stuff, so I walked away. He didn't know what to make of that. He ended up turning around and coming back in. The reasoning is generally that horses will just stay as a herd. If you follow them, sometimes they think that, well, we think that they don't want to get caught, which is true too, but they sort of become a leader a little bit, and instead you kind of say, no, I'm gonna go the other way, and then they're all alone because everybody is back where you're going, and then they're all alonsy lones, and they say, oh no, and they just show up. That's where the term herd bound sounds positive instead of all the negative connotation that gets put out there about being herd bound. I have to admit, it's definitely my favorite time of the day. The early morning coffee with the horses when it's sunny and calm. Look at these two. Poor Ruli. Take off, you guys. Wait somewhere else. No? Luke's going to do a little co-grooming. He checks out Ruli an awful lot. Oh, here comes Roni. He's going to chase Luke off a little bit. He's not that effective with Luke. Luke will happily fight him back to a point. Of course, Gracie's got to get in there. What about me? No. Which one of my horses is the most fun to ride? Oh, Luke got sent away. Ah, geez. Let me think. I don't know. It's I think Luke's probably my favorite too. If I would go trail ride and stuff like that, I definitely enjoy riding Luke. He's very responsive and he's got a lot of energy. He's not a giver-upper. Yeah, he's got good stamina. So he really is looking him up for a second there. I think she's still going to yell at him, so be prepared. Any second now. Here comes Roni. Luke, kick him in the chest. Nope. There we go. Might as well watch these three. Really, you gotta get moving. Luke's trapped. I think, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure Ruli's in heat a little bit. Whoa. This tripod sucks. I need a new tripod. Oh, he got kicked. He did not kick back. Did everybody notice that? Just gonna move the camera a little bit, and he's off. Like, ow, I got kicked in the ribs by an old lady. I don't think Ruli kicks hard. He's got his head in the barrel anyways, but now she goes back to him. Because she's in heat. And Roni's a useless mate. He doesn't do anything. I don't know what Roni's role is, actually. I don't know what he thinks he does. He is a useless male horse. Other than looking so fantastic. Well, he doesn't fight properly, he doesn't groom properly, he doesn't help the girls out at all. He's useless. Don't know why. He just frustrates her. Good looking horse, pretty smart, very sensitive, but doesn't seem to be very good at horsey things. Oh, there goes the pack of girls. And a dump truck. Oh, there's a question. Is that a new guy by Luke? I don't know when that was. No, Luke and Mr. Wilder's at the back. Roni's crazy if he thinks he can tell Gracie to do much. Sue says, what's Roni's backstory? It's a good question. I don't know if I talk about Roni too much, and I haven't done a video on his story. There. Let's see. Roni's backstory. Roni is a registered quarter horse. If anybody's wondering what it means to be registered, it just means that he's a purebred. So he's pure quarter horse. And I bought him, oh gosh, when he was 4 or 5. I don't remember now. Anyways, about 5 years ago. And probably about 4 then. So I have his papers, and I have a record of when that is. But so it was when I bought him. He was originally being trained, or the person who owned him wanted him because I think his sire, that doesn't make sense, probably his dam was a barrel racer, so he had barrel racing, or no, his brother, that's what it was. His brother was really good at stuff, at barrel racing, so the girl who bought him figured that he'd be pretty good too. But it turns out that I heard through the grapevine much later was that he was too much trouble, so she sold him to me. And I bought him, just seemed like a nice little guy, and he was healthy. His feet needed work, and he needed retraining, because barrel racing training is hard on horses, mostly. I don't know a lot, but I'm not part of that, but I do know how they go about getting barrel racing horses to barrel race. I mean, you don't have to watch very many barrel races to get a grasp of that. So needless to say, from the age of 3 or so, Roni definitely knows the the end of a spur. So when you're riding him, you have to be very sensitive to that. So I actually work on insensitivity a little bit. I try to get it to where he isn't so sensitive to feet. So the other thing that he did that I wasn't a fan of him being taught to do is when he goes to back up, he sort of tucks his chin all the way down into his chest in a very, what appears to be a very uncomfortable way, a very unnatural way to back up, sort of a forced head maneuver that some people think is fantastic. I think it looks wonderful and all that stuff. I don't. I never have. He doesn't walk backwards properly for it. So that's another thing that I'm still working on. I still have to regularly come back to, because it's sort of imprinted in him due to the training at a young age, which is one of the reasons why many people discourage against teaching horses at such a young age. Let them be horses till the age of 4 or so. Don't mess around with them too much. Don't force them into things. Don't use gimmicks and confining materials, tools to get the job done, because it ends up being somewhat imprinted in them. And not to mention that generally a lot of the stuff wrecks their bones, their body. So anyways, now he's been here. He's done quite a bit of riding, done some archery with him, some trail riding. say he's probably my biggest hay burner. Yeah. use him the least, or ride him the least, or play with him the least out of the 4, now 5, because he's so easygoing and he's such a kind character. He's absolutely just a beautiful horse on the inside. On the outside too, obviously. And he learns quite quickly, but again, he's got that real sensitivity that I'm actually practicing with a few of my students now, where I've had them come away from Lena. It's weird. Lena is really good as a teacher, but because she's quite slow, I guess it's like physically slow, she doesn't move that fast. You can catch things way before they happen. So she makes a good teacher for younger people, and younger people to the horses, not necessarily just younger people. But it'll make a person dull. Dull meaning that the reason Lena's here, or one of the reasons Lena's here, is that the person that didn't want her because she just kind of ran through people's hands. Now, you wouldn't really know that now if you see me ride, but if you see anybody else ride her, you'll know it. Like, wow, there she is, running through that person's hands. What a terrible horse. And it's actually a subject of a bigger conversation that I hope to have with Ross Jacobs quite soon. Actually, we just had a bit of a conversation on the topic a couple days back. Just a short conversation. He has experienced the same thing with one of his horses that he says he's absolutely amazing. And so anyway, so because she runs through people's hands, she was given away. She was free, and then I just kept working on that to where, as you guys, if you've seen the archery video, you would see that she rides just fine without even using hands at all. So there's no running through any hands when you're not even using your hands. There's no running through my body either. She sticks close. Oh, what are these 3 doing? Look at Yoko just go in the middle there. Now she's an interesting character. She regularly kind of tells Ruli to wander off somewhere, but not too far. Sort of herds her around a little bit, but has never ever given the indication she's going to do anything more, even when she's had the opportunity to do something more. Very interesting. If she keeps bugging Ruli, I'll go in there and separate her off. If Ruli comes up here and gets sort of chased up here, I'll do something. I'll be back. Yeah, you guys can watch. Just a little request to leave. Bug Ruli. Ruli's not to be bugged. Alright, let's wander through a few more questions here. Hopefully that's answered Roni's story. Great horse. Martine says Fallon Taylor is a specialist of barrel racing. Huh. Well, then I already don't like Fallon Taylor. I don't like barrel racing. I think it's unkind. I've never seen a kind looking barrel race in my life. I've just seen horses spurred, whipped, kicked as they do their 12-second runs, hard turns, yanking reins around, tie downs all over them. Ugh, don't like it at all. Sue says, I noticed he has a tendency to dart. Whether his training has something to do with it. Maybe. Or he's just a speedy, muscly kind of guy. I was hanging out with Roni. Not really. Paul says, spurs and hard hands. Poor Roni. Exactly. Hello, Hannah. Jodell says, do you ever use a covered arena? Almost daily. Yeah. Lori says, what are your thoughts on training collection? I don't think collection needs to be trained at all. People do it for show, mostly. It's a culture thing. What I think is more beneficial to the horse isn't it isn't about training a horse to collect, because horses certainly know how to collect, or the physiology of collection is interesting. Oh, Martine had to go. Bye, Martine. See you later. If you're still here. 6 o'clock. She's got to go. Where do you have to go? Just kidding. I don't want to know. It's all right. The physiology of collection is interesting. The idea being that the horse will be able to gather itself and be more responsive, and of course it looks better to many. To some it looks like what it is, which is generally a horse that is forced up into a position through usually a bit in their mouth, and in a lot of cases there'll be a tie down involved in there, a running or standing martingale, which are just ways to tie a horse's head to their chest so they can't stretch out or do anything normal horsey related. And then and usually a leverage style bit, and then somebody will say that they're going to train that horse to collect. Like, what? You're gonna do what? I don't know how that passes as horsemanship, but oh geez, Lena's yelling at Gracie again. Sure gets high pitched. It's really interesting. Oh. Anyhow, so I think collection, if it's going to happen, should happen due to relaxation, not tension. So if you were to train a horse to collect, to do things, then I think it should be done through the activity that the horse would be doing, where they would naturally collect up. We see it quite often when they go to trot or canter away or something like that, and especially if they're about to go into a bit of an argument with another horse and they got to look a little taller or bigger, the horse will really collect up nicely and off they'll go. And so I think collection is better viewed as the natural form of the horse when doing activities, whatever that is. But some of the forced collections, so I guess it's kind of a long way of saying that I don't know if a horse needs to be trained to collect, but I don't see anything, you know, I see that there's an understanding that collection needs to happen for certain activities, and if you're going to trigger an activity to happen, then to be collected makes it more efficient and powerful, and they build up their back and stomach muscles a lot better as well. Yeah, but a lot of the ways that I see collection being trained through tie downs and tying the head to the chest and the back legs to the chest and all kinds of really, really weird ways to force collection, I think is very wrong. A horse will collect when it is playing, when it is running around, when it is fighting. They will collect, as they call it, you know, increase their core viability. The best way to put it. And it's beautiful. Absolutely, I agree. You know, when it looks good, when it actually looks good. Well, that's a long answer. Amber's folding the laundry. Ah, ranch horses, right, of course. I was mainly thinking of the dressage stuff. You want a horse to... oh, Roni. You want a horse to collect in ranching so that they can make good turns for cutting. And when we watch the horses play and go about doing their things, and they're being... I mean, we see it mostly with the boys here, where they might cut back and forth, and they have to be in what a horse would be as referred to as an athletic stance. So the boys will get that way quite often. They're not right now, obviously, because their heads are high and they're trying to fight with their mouths. But if they get into the idea that they're going to kick, or like a buck or kick kind of idea, they will collect up for sure. And that makes them way more efficient. It's no different than if we're playing tennis or racquetball or volleyball or basketball. You know, any of these sports that involves quick movements, you're going to kind of scooch down. You're going to collect. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to stick your butt out. Your body is going to be a little bit more forward. Your hands will be out a little bit. You are essentially collecting, in my opinion. And a ranch horse, if they have to cut cows, then I don't know how much it needs to be trained to collect, but you definitely have to work on making sure that they know to have their head in the right position, their body in the right position to be moving. So it'd be sort of the equivalent of your coach on the sideline saying, you know, prepare, because here comes the ball or something like that, and telling you to kind of not stand there with your hands in your pockets. So essentially, I think it's kind of like that. There's a real practical usage to being collected. But I don't believe it should be forced. I think it should be taught through activities that you sort of clue them in that stuff's going to happen. You better collect up. You better get your hands out of your pockets. You better bend your knees a little bit. You better get your arms a little wider. You better put your feet a little wider. You better be ready. That is what I think is collection, and is also a mindset. It's not just the body. You have to change their mind as well. So get ready for something that we're going to do. There, Luke collected. Oh, he was out of frame, wasn't he? All right, collection. It's fantastic. Mostly not needed. Forced collection during a trail ride, for example, is just silly. There's no reason for it. Let them have their head low and relax, stretch their back out. It's more comfortable. Holding a horse in with reins and a bit in their mouth. It's unnatural. You don't need it. If they're going to need it, then you can trigger it. But forced holding in with strong forearms, I think, is wrong. I think I saw a good reference for you. Might be a while back. I still have the set. I just don't watch it anymore. But the Buck Brenneman 7 Clinics DVD set. Now, there's plenty in there that's really good. Some that's kind of like, well, that's a pretty old way of doing things, but plenty in there that's just fantastic. And in a few of the scenes that he does, and it's almost B-roll. It's almost like stuff that isn't really... Poor Luke. Girls are confusing, man. in there, he does a few things with his horse that uh, collected looks fantastic, but he's not forcing his horse to do it. He's got his reins ready, but never tight. He never uses a tie down. I'm not a fan of the bits he uses. He uses a spade bit, which I think is a cruel and unnecessary bit, but to him it isn't. And whatever, it's not my place to. I'm never going to point it out to the guy, obviously, or anybody, other than on my own channel. So it's my business to say it here. But he doesn't, at the point of time in the education of the horse's life that he's working with in the video, there's zero need for him to pull tight or have that spade bit sort of reach down further onto the reins, because he just sort of collects by collecting himself. When Buck collects, his horse collects. Meaning when Buck gets into a stance that is athletic, that means he's going to either do some cutting or he's going to do some hopping around or do some thing. Then what happens is the horse says, okay, I'm ready to do something too, so let's get ready to do something together by collecting up the both of us together, and they go together. He's a good horseman in that regard. And so that's what I see as collection. It's a really long answer, but if I think on what I perceive as good collection, good training of collection, or it's a good end result, that might be it. Yeah. Trainers use the backup to start the process. Right. Collecting generally does happen with the back feet being closer to the front feet, and a compression of the abdominal muscles it's good exercise for one, obviously. We all know that. And then of course let me see if I can explain this. The way that it is a good trigger for sure. I think so too. I've done it myself, where you sort of back up, but you can't just do a back up. You have to back up just the front legs more or less, and what some people call it loading up the back end. And you only load up the back end if the back end doesn't move. Otherwise you just go backwards. So the backup can't be just a backup. The backup has to be a quality backup where you're in control of the front end and the back end. Other than that, it isn't collection at all. It's just a backup. And then you must have decent time. Oh, get it, Roni. Then you must have decent timing to start the forward. So you might trigger a backup of just the front end and have the back end stay somehow, sort of thing. Then it might appear as collection, and then even then you still have to figure out how to gently get that horse's head into a position that isn't up but is instead straight or slightly down. That's just the physiology of the horse. If we look at it scientifically, that's what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to get them to sort of get ready to move really quick. And they always do it by bowing their neck a little bit. They always do it with their head kind of down, never up. Horses don't run off with their head high up in the air generally at a start. They might after. I don't think it enables the full, not range of motion, but the full I'm thinking of the word efficacy, but that's not what I'm thinking. It's not quite it. The full whoop, going out of scene. See, Ruli's in heat. Roni's kind of chasing Luke around, but Luke's kind of got Ruli's attention. Look at her follow him. I'll go with you. You're a good guy. Dina's going to come over and chase Ruli off. Watch this. Poor Lena's left with nothing. What happened there? Stupid Roni. I got Gracie and Mr. Wild enjoyed just a nice morning sun. And Yoka. And the boys being my boys. I think the meaning I'm trying to get to is by being in the right position, it allows them to use their muscles in the most efficient and effective way to get the most done, to get the most value out of the muscle that is available. You must be in the right position, right? You can't throw a ball very well when you're on your knees, but you can when you're on your feet, because you can use your hips and your back much more effectively. So if you say, I need to be collected to throw a ball, that collection might be that 1 foot is back, 1 foot is forward, and that would be what is collection. It's being in the position, the physical position, to be the most effective and efficient for the action that is going to happen. So there's a term called false collection, which you see all the time. So much. I mean, it's incredible. And the ability to recognize false and true collection is really, really important. Sometimes you got to go through a lot of, or for some people, I don't know, I don't practice it that much, so I'm not gonna put myself in the group, but I think that there is a lot of practice of doing false collection to be like, wait, this doesn't feel right. Let's get some true collection, and then when the true collection actually comes, you're like, whoa, that's what real collection is. I'm gonna keep searching for this thing. Get him, Luke. Punch him in the eyeball. Gosh, these guys are fun, eh? When everybody else is quiet, these boys just play and play and play hours and hours. See, Luke almost collected. Let's zoom out a little so I don't have to pan around so much. The tripod is a piece of garbage. Been out in the weather too much. Okay, you're welcome, Lori. Hopefully that was good. Thanks, Amber. Have you worked with stallions before? What's the difference between training a stallion and a gelding? Nothing. No difference. Just a horse. But it depends on that horse's life. Say to me, what's the difference between training Roni and Luke? Big difference. Luke, very easygoing guy. Super easygoing. He's almost slow or dull in some cases. Like, come on, Luke, let's go, buddy. Only once I've convinced him that I really am serious about this moving around business does he get moving around. Very playful as well. He wants to play all the time when I work with him. Roni is not. Roni is a very sensitive, quiet creature. You must be very quiet with that boy. You get too loud with him, he gets really worried. He just starts constantly checking in to make sure he's not in trouble, or that's what it appears to me. So I wouldn't really want to sort of separate out gelding and stallions. I don't think they're different. Yes, I worked with a couple of stallions. They've both been absolutely lovely, kind horses that you would never think stallion. You just think boy horse. Oh, you're in trouble now, Luke. Whoa! It was a close one. See, Luke collected up to leave. Luke's collecting up. Now he's going to go get Mr. Wild. He's off at the back. Those two turn into a lot of fun. I have to zoom in so much. It's an optical zoom now, so it sucks. And Ruli's all alone. The boys have left her. So, you know, unfortunately, in some cases, stallions have a real bad rap due to what their life was or is. Usually quite lonely, usually unhappy, usually pent up frustration, anxiety, no friends, no human that wants to be their friend. So sad. Yeah, not a horse's life. It just brings me back to the original question a while back there. Kathy says, what's the order of chores? Gosh, if I can, get these guys out, socialize, interact, talk, co-groom, stuff like that. Come on, zooming, something like that. Let's not go too far in. Or he says, a beautiful way to spend the morning. It is. I'm almost done my coffee. I'm going to do chores pretty soon. So personality is really what it comes down to. Yeah, I believe for any horse, mare, some people hate mares, or they love geldings, or they love mares. I only work with mares, I only work with geldings. I think that is a human bias, and that human bias gets placed upon the horse. Gosh, look at Lena. She looks like my dioramas right now. Pretty horse. So I think it's a human bias, and you put a human bias into the mix. It's like saying you don't like blondes or brunettes or dark hair or brown eyes or green eyes or whatever. You know, that human bias gets put in the mix. You take that bias out, this is a horse, just a human. How would you treat that horse or human? Hopefully with kindness. An open mind. That's when we grow the most. Everyone, including Lena, is picking on Fancy Pants. What? He's at the back. Nobody's bugging him. I don't think. Not moving much, is he? I think Ruli's been getting the most action around here. He does get moved around quite a bit, which is good. He needs the exercise. I can't do everything, can I? Look at Lena standing tall. She looks good. April's here. Hello, April. Good morning. It is a beautiful morning. This is our morning this morning. Sun's coming up. It's time to get some stuff done. So I think what I might do is leave you guys. Whoa, it's too zoomed in. Let's see if I can get this to zoom just inside of out. Too much. Maybe there. Maybe there. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions for me, then I'll wander off to do chores. It's a pretty nice morning. No rush to do too many things at the moment, which is good. See what these guys get up to. Probably not a heck of a lot. It's already been pretty quiet. Usually when the sun comes up like this, they'll tend to sort of stand around and just bask in a little morning sun. Get some co-grooming done here and there. Alright, I'm going to get on with some cleaning and feeding. Also to do some trimming too. So before these guys go back, I've got 3 horses to trim up. So we'll see how that goes. And just, I'm not going to be hanging around the camera. I guess I'll put you guys kind of wide. Something like that. Yeah, just see what they get up to as the sun slowly comes up. I'll check in, I don't know, every 5-10 minutes. Oof. Look at them all looking at me. Well, chores are getting there. Let's see if we got any more. Oh, Roger's here. Hello, Roger. Sue says is Oscar missing Roo? No idea. I don't think so. Maybe. You know Takahashi is here. Japanese, I guess. Ohayou gozaimasu. Henry's here. Hello, Henry. Oh, 9:30, is it? Yep, 9:35. Good morning. And Gma is here. Just made it to the live stream. Yeah. Did a pile of talking earlier. If you rewind, you can hear it all, but Sue's making a business call and somebody heard the horses. Yeah, Ruli's a little noisy. But overall, they're pretty quiet. It's good. I definitely like peaceful horses. Oh, Roni's going over. Oh, everybody's got to move. Lena bit Luke anyways. Take off. You suck at this. Gosh, these boys are fun to watch. Somebody said, how do you get anything? I think it was Amber. How do you get anything done? Sometimes I kind of don't. Oh, Ruli's in trouble now. Get moving, Ruli. Just a little bit. Nice and quiet. But overall, not too much going on. Good socialization. Good, good for their brains and bodies. Get some exercise together. Luke's nibbling on Roni, or Ruli, I mean. She's gonna yell at him in a second for sure. Maybe not. He's really chewing on her. Just little nibbles. Little nibbles. Oh, here comes Yoka. You guys ever hear that tap tap tapping? It's Mr. Wild. He's got his head in the barrel while he kicks it. It's kind of weird. I don't know why he does it, but he does it every time he's in the arena. He's just in the middle there, puts his head in, and then starts kicking the barrel. Yeah, weird. Of course, I go to show you, and then Ruli and Luke are in the way. Oh, there we go. Okay, head's all the way in. Oh, Yoka. Okay, let's see if he does it. A lot of dump trucks today. I guess there's construction going on. It's a nice day for it, no surprise. Good time to be laying roads or foundation down when it's not pouring rain. A massive storm a couple days back. Huge. And a lot of flooding. I think we had more rain on the weekend than we had pretty much the whole summer, plus the summer before that. It was nuts. Something close to 3 or 4 inches within a couple hours. It was bad. I got some video of it, but I just haven't had time to put anything together. I find that this side of Ruli is really interesting, this change of mind. She's got her head pretty much upside down, nibbling on Luke's chin while he nibbles on her front right leg. And Yoga's in there hanging out for some reason. Huh. Always watching, always observing, wondering what on earth are they doing and why. And then he wakes up, he's like, ah, geez, it's Luke. I guess I better do nothing. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll go down for a nap, actually. I like it when the horses just have a sleep and hang out and get quieter than they are already. Let's see her really walk around this much. She's really searching out Luke a lot. And she yells at him. Okay, back to a few more chores, and I shall return in a little bit. Alright, second phase of chores is complete. Now I'm going to trim. Chris is here. I'm late. Hello. Hello. Henry says the question is, was Lena chasing off both Luke and Ruli, or just Luke and Ruli thought it was for her? I don't know, I wasn't watching. These guys are quiet. The police helicopter fly over. It's called Air One. And that's just a normal airplane. I think everybody start lying down soon. Luke was going for a roll. I thought he was going to have a lie down. But he didn't. Boys on the left there. Yoko's wandering around. Okay, trimming tools are required. And zoom you guys out a little bit like that. Something like that. Maybe more. Something like that. Gosh, it's hard to do. Okay, so yeah, I think I've talked about trimming before. I usually just try to trim wherever I sort of can around this joint. If they're in the arena already wandering around, I just go get them and trim them up, let them back go, and watch them walk around a little bit. So that's the next phase, and then yeah, we'll see if they have a little nap or snooze soon. They all look pretty sleepy for a good morning nap together. So we're gonna go capture this one and see about those feet. So let's get on with that. for you. You're okay. Yeah. Hold on. Just about time for a fresh coffee. Okay, trimming is done for one. One horse. Wasn't actually sure if anybody would have any questions about trimming. Anyhow, it's getting quieter and quieter here, so maybe we'll leave it at that unless anybody has any questions. A few more chores, a couple more horses to trim. What am I doing? Mr. Wild and Lena. Today, Jodelle says, your day looks like mine, but you're busy with more with the horses. I only have two horses, eh? I think I recall you saying such a thing. What kind of horses do you have? I think one was older and one was younger, right? Is that right? Have I got that right? Yeah, always busy with the horses every single day. It's horses, horses, horses. And doing one thing or another. I mean, trimming is obviously not every day. Taking care of them and cleaning up and feeding and checking for wounds and all that kind of stuff. You know, that's an everyday thing. Let's see, Sloth Republic says, does trimming lengthen the time between farrier visits? Well, I am the trimmer here. Every one of these horses is trimmed by me. And so I guess, yes, it does. The farrier never shows up here. If someone were to hire a farrier to do their horse's trimming, and they did maintenance trims in between, I think as you progress along in how you learn how to trim, pretty soon you won't be calling anybody to take care of your horses because you'll have done enough maintenance trim to just maintain them. In the beginning, though, a lot of people do have somebody come and check and just fix imbalances that they didn't see, or point out things that could be just a little bit different. Something's too much, something's too little. So I do that for a few clients. I encourage them heavily to learn how to trim their own horse's feet. I think anybody can do it. And so they are. And then I'll come in once in a while and make some suggestions on what they're doing, good or bad. And then with any luck, they'll be completely independent of any of my advice or anybody else's for that matter. Uh-oh. Yoka. 20-year-old quarter horse and a pony of 12 years. Yeah. We'll call something like that. Gosh, it's quiet. Hear everything. Every little squirrel moving around. Shake of a horse's head. All kinds of stuff. Gracie is surprisingly quiet today. Well, anyways, I'm going to grab myself a brand new coffee. Get on with a few more chores, but we've been on this thing for a couple hours now, so I think most people have wandered on. It's not that interesting watching horses stand around and relax in the sun. As peaceful as it is in person. Probably not the same on a screen. But it's been great having everybody here. I appreciate all the comments and questions. Anything I can answer, I'll try. Hopefully they're the right answers. And I'm going to get on with some rest of the chores. And maybe a couple videos today. Got a couple ideas and some more things that I want to get out. I'll probably work on that. Such a nice day to do it. So Gma says, have a great day. You too. I hope everybody has a great day or evening or morning. Dale says, I love the lesson on trimming. Yeah, I didn't talk here much. But what I sometimes want to show is sometimes the process of trimming. Sometimes maybe not all the details are required, but you know, the patience that sometimes needs to be. I think Yoka's lived a life where she's been tied up to be trimmed. So I do my best to have her loose and let her have her feet back when she wants and pick them up again. And I don't see it as a really bad thing of any sort. I see it as sort of one of those things that you just keep training them to pick up their feet, and it's good practice. And hold it a little longer, and hold it a little longer. If they don't, they don't. And you don't worry too much. Just slowly keep at it. And then they're trimmed. Really, you got to move a little quicker without the yelling. Yeah. Anyhow. So that's sort of what I do from a distance. And it's done. Anyhow, Um, eat lunch. Yeah, I'm gonna have another coffee. I'm gonna do a little bit more, then eat lunch. I guess you're probably gonna eat lunch. That's what you're saying. Good for you. Lunch is good. I'll have mine in a bit. And I will see you guys in the next one. Next beautiful day. I'll chuck a camera out. We'll do the same. Okay, everybody, have a great day. And I'll see you next time.